This is the Star News Brief from Tina Mombanu. Opposition Chief Raila Odinga has stepped up his charm offensive for the top continental job almost 9 months to the key vote. The former Prime Minister, who is not leaving anything to chance, has lined up a number of engagements, including with select envoys to bolster his African Union Commission chairmanship bid. The ODM boss campaign team is set to meet at least 20 ambassadors as part of his strategy to woo their countries into voting for him. In March, the AU Executive Council endorsed the decision to have next chairperson come from Eastern Africa, while Northern Africa to front the vice chairperson. The resolution on March 15, 2024 was in accordance with the statute of the AU Commission, the rules of procedure, the African Union policy organs and the decisions of the Assembly of Heads of States and Government. Raila will, however, have to square it out with 2 other candidates from Eastern Africa who have all joined the race. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com. Has Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja been caught up in the 2027 succession politics, or has he just failed as the city boss? Barely 2 years in office, Sakaja is trapped in endless controversies and fierce criticism amid questions about his leadership style and ability to run the complex capital. But the governor has dismissed the troubles as politically instigated by those hell-bent on early 2027 campaigns. Sakaja said he has realized the highest ever own source revenue collection and disbursed 1.8 billion shillings bursaries in 10 months against 3 billion shillings disbursed in 10 years. However, observers and critics, including some leaders from the city, say he has failed flat in his duties as the governor. The city boss has fallen out with several political leaders in the county, including those from his own UDA party, with some going the extra mile calling for his ouster. Kianyaga Boys was the secondary school that unveiled and set in motion the illustrious teaching career of Julius Ndumbi, now 75, soon after completing his 3-year bachelor's degree in education from the University of Nairobi. The year was 1975, when the budding independent Kenya was yearning for his service due to the scarce workmanship and degree holders in the teaching profession. As a result, the young Ndumbi and his fellow classmates, who notably were the pioneer class in the varsity's Bachelor of Education department, instantly got their letters of employment from the Teachers Service Commission. He said Gachagwa's ascension to the position of the deputy president was a momentous period that not only boosted his former teaching career, but equally launched a plenitude of fortune and fame to his name. There are only about 10 true human rights activists in Kenya, he says. It takes heart, sweat and blood to be one. After 18 years in the service, 48-year-old Francis Auma says it is not for the faint-hearted. He has been threatened and forced to flee the country. Several times he has contemplated quitting, but the bug keeps calling him back. After 6 years at Meru Junior School, he resigned and was employed by Global Fund, an NGO that dealt with advocacy through arts. They were articulating issues of HIV and AIDS and tuberculosis across the coast region. He then joined other thespians at Little Theatre, where he met other activists in Noli before taking a break to study mass communication. After graduation, he got a job at Muslims for Human Rights and was deployed as a paralegal officer stationed at Kilifi Prison in Bofa, where he spent another 6 years. And the devastating floods have exposed the government's lackluster attitude and indifferent response in implementing some crucial expert reports. The floods have caused more than 200 deaths, displaced thousands and destroyed property worth billions, exposing a lack of meaningful response from authorities. In fact, Auditor General Nancy Gathongo revealed in March 2023 that Kenya's flood response and recovery were lacking. It focused on the operations of the State Department for Internal Security and National Administration through the National Disaster Operations Center and the Directorate of Special Programs. The audit was meant to assess the extent to which measures put in place by the state through the State Department for Internal Security and National Administration and the Directorate of Special Programs were adequate during humanitarian emergencies such as flooding. Get a copy of the Star by subscribing to our e-paper for only 40 shillings by logging on to www.mgazzetti.com.